everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the PowerToku Show DX. I am Josh Reed, also known as Jmann, and joining me is the Black Condor to my Red Hawk,
Luis, also known as SentaiSeiya, here with another glorious episode of PowerToku. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, a surprising amount of content actually went up onto the site.
Most of it Toku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's good for us. Lots of stuff for us to talk about.
Alrighty, so let's jump into news, and this is going to be a short one.
Yeah. Well, let's go into toy news.
Toy news.
Toy talk, whatever.
Toy talk news.
Hey, look. We're here in the toy talk section.
So we have the SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Angle from Kamen Rider Blade.
You pronounced that weird.
Did I? Is it? I can't remember how they pronounce it.
I always pronounce it Leangle.
Leangle. All right, you want to do it?
I don't think it matters.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's that dude. It's Mitsuki from Kamen Rider Blade. Yeah.
If you're confused, it's the guy that does this.
Yeah, he's all like emo and stuff.
He sure does have a hat.
Yeah. So this would be the last one, right? From Kamen Rider Blade?
Potentially. It depends on if they're going to do the movie writers or not. Or
I hope not.
Or if they're going to do any of the undead or undead toes, as I like to say.
Yeah. But the last of the main writers in the show, because they've done Blade, they've done Garen, Leangle, and I'm missing one.
Blade, Leangle, Chalice, and Garen.
They haven't done Chalice yet. Oh, yeah, they've shown him, right?
Yeah, we actually covered that a couple of weeks ago.
Short-term memory. Anyways, Leangle, the last one of the main writers, and obviously his suit that he uses is the club, and he's also got a spider thing going. Out of all the main writers, though, in this show, not my favorite.
Really?
How about you?
I like the way his head is basically a giant cylinder type thing. I don't know. All I know is that a couple of years ago at Anime Weekend Atlanta, me and Michael and Andy went as the Kamen Riders from Blade, but it was just, really stupid costumes. Like Michael and Andy had like little paper masks, and I actually just had a cardboard box that I painted where I drew Leangle's face on it in crayon.
That's what that was supposed to be. I think I saw a picture of it.
Yeah, for a while it was my avatar. I just had it sitting on my head. But yeah, that was Leangle's face.
I thought it was completely different Kamen Rider, to be honest with you. I was like, is that Ichigo? What's that? But all right, now I get it. Years later.
Yeah, because, cylinder and it was all straight. And I was like, hey, this would be perfect for a box.
Gotcha. I mean, part of it for me is I was never a big fan of Mitsuki in the show.
Yeah, he's kind of whiny and...
Yeah, and he's like a badass, and then he's like good, and he's bad. I don't know, he's really flippy-floppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's good, and then he's bad, but he's good again. I mean...
And then he's got that whiny girlfriend that's almost as whiny as he is. I don't know, it's just not my favorite character in the show.
Well, I know D-Kun is planning on picking this guy up, because he's planning on picking up all the writers just so he can do the 4-way bro fist
from the intro?
opening. Yeah, from the opening of the show.
Nice. So, I mean, but it looks good. It's Bandai, good quality stuff.
Yep, and I believe it's coming to the U.S. via Bluefin, because it's coming August for $36.99.
Yep. So, there's enough Blade fans out there that Bluefin decided to bring this guy over. So, hit up Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, all those places. They'll probably have them up for pre-order if they don't already.
Yeah, go ahead and click on those ads that are behind our faces.
Yeah. So, that's going to be the only piece of news. Pretty light this week.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of reviews to talk about, so that'll make up for it. You'll get your money's worth in this show. Hopefully. If not, you get your money back.
Yeah. All the money you spent to watch this show.
All $0. All right, so the first review is by a guy that goes by the name of SentaiSeiya, and it's...
I hate that guy. That guy's stupid.
I want to just take him out into the parking lot one day and just beat the crap out of him.
Didn't we already have this conversation?
I think we did.
With someone else, like, beating them with, I don't know. It was before this show started, so everyone else who is watching this is probably really confused.
Or maybe we did talk about it on the show. Either way, we're going to beat up that guy.
Yeah, we're going to beat up that guy with a baseball bat.
Yeah. But he did a good job reviewing the Batra in the SH Monster Arts line. And this is from the 90s Godzilla vs. Mothra movie. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't, because I'm a terrible person.
So the name of the movie is a little bit misleading, actually. Godzilla's in it, but he's just in it to like kick the crap out of the other two monsters. It's more of a story between Mothra and Batra, which is really cool. So Batra basically is created by the will of the Earth to keep humanity in check when they create this device that can control weather, and also just to, you know, protect the Earth. But it goes out of control, and so Mothra comes in, puts it to sleep, and then later in the future, in the present time in the 90s, Batra and Godzilla get woken up by a meteor, and now you have three monsters, you know, or two monsters beating the crap out of each other, and Mothra kind of trying to keep the peace a bit. So, I mean, this thing looks awesome, though. Pretty much just like it does in the movie. It's got those beautiful wings. The thing I like about Batra is that it looks evil. It looks like a monster that could kick ass. I mean, we all know Mothra can kick ass, but it's fuzzy and cute. It's got the monster you want to just, you know, take home and, you know, cuddle with or something.
Yeah, but look at this thing. It's just terrifying.
Yeah. It's got those translucent like spikes coming out of the head. It's just awesome. So those things glow before it fires off an attack. Articulation's pretty good. Each one of the feet have 3 ball joints. So, or each of the legs, I should say. Then you have a couple swivels on each of the wings. So it's got a ton of articulation. It's not the most articulated Monster Arts release. I mean, it's a pretty basic moth figure. But, I mean, it does everything that it can do in the movie. So, it's awesome. I mean, what else can I say? Like I said, other releases have more articulation than this. I mean, Godzilla and like Kiryu have as much articulation as this figure does in like their tail, but that's because you have to move their tail and all the other parts. I mean, this is just, it's basic, it's cool, it's neat looking. It's just awesome all the way around.
This is something that I would tie to a piece of string, and I would just like put it up on my ceiling and let it just hang out.
Yeah. That's what I plan on doing sometime down the line when I have some shelf space. I'm just going to put all my figures together, my Monster Arts, and this is definitely something I would hang on a piece of string.
Yeah, dude, just get him and Mothra just facing each other. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah. I think Mothra from the 90s movies is coming out pretty soon. It hasn't come out yet, though, in the Monster Arts line, as far as I know. So I had it fight Kiryu for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
My only major complaint with this, though, is there was no effect part. Bandai really just doesn't do those much anymore.
Well, except like in the Monster Arts line, it's pretty much been the going thing to get a Monster Arts and you have a beam attack and, you know, other things. And in some cases, especially like in Monster Arts Rodan, you actually had several effect parts for Monster Arts figures that didn't even come in the box. You know, it came with an extra head for Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and it came with an extra beam part for Godzilla. I mean, you know.
But it seems like the more recent ones are just pretty much bare bones. You get the figure, maybe a stand, maybe an extra head or two, but nothing in the effect parts.
Well, I mean, a lot of the later Monster Arts releases were things that didn't really need effect parts. Like you had King Kong and, let's see, what else? Like the, I believe Predator and the Xenomorph Warrior. I don't think...
I think those are figure arts, weren't they?
Were they figure arts?
Yeah,
I thought they were Monster Arts.
Let me check real quick.
They could have been figure arts, but I'm thinking they were Monster Arts because I think it was Monster Arts Predator and Monster Arts Alien Warrior.
Oh no, I think they are Monster Arts. Or no, some sites are saying Monster Arts figure arts. Anyways, so the Godzilla stuff. The recent ones though, like Batra, don't have any effect parts. Neither did Kiryu, so it's kind of a bummer. I mean, I would have loved to have Batra just flying around, just shooting death beams down at the monsters.
Especially for something so small and quote-unquote insignificant as Batra. it would need something to like rain fire down, because I mean that's what Rodan did. Rodan was essentially a really tiny thing, half the size of Godzilla, and it came with 2 or 3 effect parts that it could use to make up for, the price.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that this is also like a limited release. Bluefin obviously bringing it over as a regular release in the States, but maybe when they, engineered this and put it together for the Japanese market, they wanted to set it at a certain price point. So
that could definitely be it.
Yeah. A little bummed, but I mean, it's a great figure besides the fact that it is missing the effect part, which would have made it even much better. All right. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, well, excellent review by SentaiSeiya.
But we're still going to take him out in the parking lot and beat him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump to the next review.
Yeah, and this actually makes a lot of sense. Moving on from Batra, we've got...
Yeah, Godzilla, 2014, from the upcoming movie with,
called Godzilla.
Yeah. So, this is a review by Josh B., and this is the one by Jakks Pacific.
The 24-inch tall jumbo Godzilla.
Yeah.
This is the one I want.
So, this was so big that Josh had to take it out into his, looks like it's driveway or a sidewalk.
Yeah, looks like it's out in his driveway.
Yeah. He couldn't shoot it inside of the tent, as he mentions in the review. It's just awesome, though. I mean, you get so much Godzilla for like $50. He did mention that you have to put the tail on. Can you go up a bit?
Yeah.
And in it, there's actually like a little battery compartment. Because originally, I guess they were planning on making this with sounds and lights and all that kind of stuff. I think on the stomach, it's got little slits where the sound would come out of. But they scrapped it, later in the process.
I mean, there's always the option, if, this product does well, they might do a deluxe 24-inch version with lights and sounds or, something like that. So they always have the option, but,
I can't really fault them, though. I think $50 is a good price point for this.
Yeah. Any more than that, you start getting into, really expensive territory that people might not pay.
And maybe that's what they found out doing some research, towards the end of the production of the toy. I mean, it looks awesome. It's actually the best looking toy for this line, or for the movie so far.
Yeah, looking at a lot of the toys in person, especially the ones from Bandai, he just looks a little stubby. That's really the best way I can put it, but this just looks perfect. It's just spot on.
It's got a lot of detail, yeah.
I look at this and I'm just like, that is a modern representation of Godzilla. And that is what I want. I mean, just look at that bright red tongue. That is beautiful right there.
Josh does mention, though, the tongue is not actually accurate to the movie.
No, but it looks so good. I mean, look at that face.
It's the wazza face. Yeah. So, I think it also has like a whale or tail wagging gimmick. It kind of sways back and forth. You can open the mouth, obviously. But, I mean, it looks awesome. He's got a comparison picture a little bit further down where it's, hanging out with one of his dogs.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is 2 feet tall.
Yep. They can ride a skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the size of a small dog.
And that's not even a small dog. That is, a medium-sized dog.
Yeah. But it's smaller than the medium dog, so I'm saying.
Well,
like
yeah.
Like a smaller dog, yeah. So, I was looking earlier at the Amazon prices for this, and it's going for like $130 on there.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to pay aftermarket prices. I'm going to wait until I see one in store before I pick it up.
Yeah. After I read the review, I was like, hey, I'm going to jump on Toys R Us and see if they have one for sale. And it's one of those items that's in-store only, so you can't buy it online. So,
I mean, they probably don't want to ship a 2-foot-tall box to you.
That's true. I mean, I would totally do the free shipping to store, though, if they have that option, just to get one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're on the fence about this, or if you really want to get one, next time you're in Toys R Us and you see one, jump on it, I would say. I mean, it's already pretty nuts on the aftermarket, so I would totally get this for for $50, not $120.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would put it, though.
I have no idea. All I know is that I want it. I want it right now.
Yeah.
I just cannot wait to get one of these. I mean, whenever we first saw the designs of the toys, I was just like, yeah, the NECA, the Bandai, these are okay. And then I saw they were doing a 2-foot-tall jumbo Godzilla, and I was just like, that's it. That's what I want. I just want a vinyl. I mean, I didn't even care if it had any articulation, but I mean, it can move its mouth, arms, legs, swivel a bit. You know, I'm good. I'm good with that. That's what I want.
So, awesome job by Josh B. A lot of cool outside photography. It's nice to see something outside of a light tent once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I like to get out and shoot my pictures outside, you know.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace.
I know what you mean. It's been cold. I think once it gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to do some stuff outside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on to some Japanesey type stuff. This is Garo and Zaruba.
Mm-hmm. Another cool review by Ghost13.
Mm-hmm.
Have you handled one of these pieces?
No, I haven't. I have not had the opportunity to grab any of these figures. It basically looks like their version of the SIC. It's from the Equip and Prop line.
He does mention that they are a subline of the SIC, which is why they look a little bit like SICs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they look really good. I mean, Garo really lends itself to some really grody, I don't know, gross-looking designs, you know. Mm-hmm. Some heavy, you know, black, washed details, you know. It looks really good.
So the gist of this figure is basically you get Koga. That's the name, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Making sure I got it right.
His name is, in fact, Koga.
All right. I was thinking about Saint Seiya. I was like, that's Koga from Omega. No, that's Koga. So anyways, you got the Koga figure. He's in his like leather outfit with that Venom design on his chest.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So that's one detail they didn't get quite right. It doesn't look that way in the show, but I mean, it looks decent for what it is.
It would look a lot more decent if he had his white duster, his big white jacket.
But the thing about this figure is you are gonna equip the armor on, so the duster would have gotten in the way.
Yeah, it would have. But they actually, I believe they do have an equip and prop version with the duster.
Oh, really?
I'll have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure they have it.
Well, if they do, there goes my theory. So the gist of this is basically you take the limbs off, and then I think he mentions only like the crotch and the abs, and that gets used to become the Garo figure. So in reality, you're not using a whole lot of the base figure to form Garo.
Yeah, but I mean, it's I guess the thought that counts here. Because they did do, you know, the full armor up version thing for the Sochaku Henshin Garo. I believe they released 2006 or 7. I don't know. It was a while ago, and all the pieces were die cast and everything, and it looked pretty good, but you know, it kind of fell apart because it's die cast pegging into plastic. So, you know, it's kind of fiddly.
Yeah. But this looks good. I think he said the articulation was a little bit limited. There we have the toy and its pieces. And then you slap on the armor.
And that looks really good.
It does. It looks a lot like the Makai Kato version. The sculpt looks very similar. I mean, the details are awesome.
Like the base figure is more than likely meant to just be kind of like a placeholder thing, because you know, if you look at him, the articulation it's okay. It's got ball joints where he needs it, but there's only, you know, cuts and swivels, whereas this one is full on, you know, double hinge joints and everything all over the place. So
he did mention though that the articulation is a little bit limited just by the design. You have stuff sticking out all over the place. That's the same thing I saw with the Makai Kato version. I mean, it's just such an ornate design that, you know, you get the hip armor getting in the way when you're trying to move the legs and stuff. But I mean, it looks good, and I think that's pretty much all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Keita Amamiya doing his job, making something look gross and amazing all at the same time. So then putting it in plastic form can kind of be a hassle.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like, you know, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, where the designs are a little bit more simple. I mean, They did make an SH figure arts out of this, and that's probably the most articulated version of Garo.
But they also left out some details on that figure.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Garo, but it doesn't have all the ornate stuff. It just doesn't look as cool as this one does.
You can tell it's Garo, but, you know, like, looking at the legs and stuff here, all of those intricate details aren't on the SH figure arts release. You know, it's stuff like this and the Makai Kato figures where you get this kind of level of detail. But, you know, while this is a really cool figure, if you want something that transforms from, you know, Koga to Garo, then this is definitely something to pick up. But I would probably recommend the Makai Kato if you're just looking for, you know, a really super awesome Garo figure to put on your shelf.
It is more recent, so I'm guessing that'd be a little bit easier to find, too.
Yeah.
And if you want the more articulated version, you would obviously go with the SH figure arts.
This is kind of like, not necessarily the bottom of the barrel for articulation, but it's not as highly articulated as the Makai Kato, which in itself isn't as articulated as the SH figure arts.
But it has that added, you know, feature of being able to transform it between Koga and Garo.
Not to mention it comes with Zaruba, and I believe it is an actual like 1-to-1 scale ring that you can wear.
Oh, be stylish. Be the coolest kid in town.
I gotta move down. Ghost 13 has so many pictures.
He does.
He always just like, so good. He always outdoes himself.
Yeah, he's got that cool cape going on. The sword, which is also made of diecast, I think.
That is a really nice pose. Like, if I had this figure, I would probably put him in that pose and just like leave him on the shelf because that looks phenomenal.
And there he is.
Hey, there is Zaruba.
That is the talking ring that helps out Garo in battle and whatnot. Yeah. Now the ring's made of metal, right?
No, it is plastic.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and there he is, and I believe...
So, good job by Ghost 13. It's a cool toy. I think he did mention, though, that, you know, putting the figure, you know, moving it back and forth between Koga and Garo was a little nerve-wracking at times. I think he said, like, the thigh joints felt like they could come apart sometimes when he's trying to put them on. So, there's always that. Hopefully he doesn't break his anytime soon.
Yeah, hopefully not. That would make me very sad.
Yeah. All right, and I think that's going to be the last review.
Yep, so we are done with toys, and let's move on to the shows. Okay, guys, so for shows this week, we're pretty much just going to be talking about the Gaim and ToQger crossover special. We're actually going to be saving this week's episode for next week, and we're going to cover 2 episodes of every show, including Super Mega Force. Since Power Ranger Super Mega Force is a 2-parter, we decided to just talk about both episodes at the same time. So, hey, we're going to be talking about 6 episodes next week, and hopefully we'll be caught up.
Yeah. Which means you have to watch the new episodes next week on time.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason, because as of this recording, I haven't seen the newest episodes this week.
That's cool. I mean, they came out just recently, so we'll let you slide this time.
Thank you.
All right. So we have the Gaim ToQger crossover, and the ToQger show up in Zawame City, and, you know, they're looking for villains and whatnot to fight. But this is Kamen Rider Gaim's world. And the mole guy, he is with the underground... What's the name of the syndicate or whatever?
The Badan Empire.
Yeah, the Badan Empire. So he's digging around, trying to, you know, bring people from underground so they can take over the world. And in the process, he's making rips into Helheim Forest, bringing in monsters from that. So Gaim and the ToQgers, you know, they transform. And at first they're like, what's going on? Why is he transforming? Why are they transforming? So it's one of those what's going on moments. So that was pretty funny. And so, you know, they start fighting the enemies. What's her name? Mai gets kidnapped by the mole dude. You know, Kamen Rider Gaim was trying to get the ToQger to take her with them so she doesn't get involved in all the stuff that's going on. But she basically disembarks at the next stop, which was like East Sawama City, right?
Yeah, it was just right across town where the next train stop was.
Yeah, so that happens. She gets caught by the mole guy, but they hatch a plan to, you know, go free her from his grasps. And some fighting ensues, as usual. During that time, too, the ToQger fight one of the invests, and they defeat him, or, deal some damage to him, and he eats one of the fruits, and it makes him big, and that's when they bring in the Tokyo. And that was one of my favorite moments of this crossover, because they're just fighting, beating the crap out of each other.
Doing the normal Sentai thing.
Yeah, and you have, what's his name? Kamen Rider Zangetsu. Takatora talking on the phone with somebody. He's like, "What do you mean there's a giant, mecha fighting a monster out there? That's preposterous." And,
get back to work.
Yeah.
And the whole time you see it behind him, like, fighting. And as soon as he goes to, like, look out the window, it gets knocked out of the way, so there's nothing there. And he turns around, he's just like, what's wrong with people today?
The thing I like about that, though, is that Takatora is almost like a spoof of himself in Kamen Rider Gaim.
Yeah.
Because of all the subplots that are going on and people keeping secrets from him within Yggdrasil, he's like kind of a little clueless. And that just shows him in a more comic way of how clueless he is as a leader. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And so also we had some other Kamen Riders showing up.
Mm-hmm. We had Kamen Rider Ichigo and Nigo and V3, which
not Sango.
Not Sango. That was actually really funny. I like that they did that, since you have the ToQgers are Tokyo Ichigo, Tokyo Nigo, and then Tokyo Sango. The way they follow that naming scheme. So they were like Ichigo, Nigo, and then V3, and then Tokyo Sango was just like, oh, so he's not just Sango.
Yeah. So, it was cool. We did get to see this combination of the Tokyo for the first time. Mm-hmm. And Gaim also combined the DJ gun with the sword for the first time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it wasn't all just, fun, filler type stuff. It was good seeing all these characters coming together in an episode or two episodes where it's just, lighthearted. Let's introduce these characters to each other, have them fight some monsters. So there was some plot development, I guess, with the new weapons and the new mecha combination.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it acts as a prequel to the Heisei Riders versus Showa Riders movie.
Mm-hmm. And by prequel, we mean plug.
Yeah. It was like, hey, look, it's Kamen Rider 15, the bad guy from the new movie that's coming out this week. You want to go watch it?
Yeah. Let's be honest, it is a shameless promo for, each of the shows, and then, hey, there's this movie coming out also, so...
Yeah, but I've been waiting for this crossover for a while, so I was super happy with it.
Yeah. So, the movie's coming out, we'll probably see it later this year, maybe next year.
It'll be in the middle of the summer, probably.
Yeah, whenever the DVDs come out. And
it'll be like 2 weeks after the DVDs come out, and we can finally watch it.
Yeah. So, I can't wait to see, even though we already know who's going to win. Yeah. The competition between the show and the Heisei Riders.
I haven't read anything about it.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Didn't we talk about...
Because we talked about, it was probably going to be Showa since they were winning. But aside from that, I have purposely not, watched anything. Not every time someone mentioned, the outcome of the polls, I'm just like, nope.
So I could just say one word right now and you'd hate me for the rest of my life.
I probably wouldn't hate you.
Yeah. No, I'll keep it a secret from you then. I already know who wins. So, very cool crossover.
Who cares who wins, because they're all going to come together to fight, the villains anyway, so...
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to matter in the long run.
And the ToQger are going to show up for some reason.
Yeah, and then they're going to get Gabutira, and Deno's going to be some train pants.
Yeah. You're going to get some Gabutira-don going on.
Also, Narutaki in this episode, and that made me super happy.
Yeah. So, he is from Kamen Rider Decade.
Honore Decado!
Yeah, he's always there to curse Decade for whatever's happening in whatever world he's in.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So, it was a fun episode. A couple of cool surprises, like Narutaki, the other Kamen Rider showing up. Just fun all the way around. I think the special felt more at home with the pace that ToQger is doing right now, where it's just fun, lighthearted stuff. But it was also nice for Gaim to kind of
take a break from all of the darkness.
Yeah. It's like story, more story. Did you get that? Have some more story. Yeah. So it was a fun episode. And like we said, next week we'll talk about the other stuff.
All right, so we are moving to another special portion of the show where we are talking about something else that's super special with a super special person. Who will it be? Find out in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Through the magic of editing.
Editing magic.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here we are in the super special segment that I promised you with a super special guest. I guess I should go ahead and introduce Deno.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Deno from Tokunation.com, or as everyone else calls me sometimes, Jordan. You know me from the Talkin Toku podcast at Tokunation. I'm actually a pretty big photo and content contributor at the site as well, an administrator. So if you haven't seen me, chances are you've probably never been there.
So this is a special moment where like worlds are colliding at this point.
It is.
This is our crossover.
It's like superhero Tyson. So who wants to be the metal heroes who get the shaft?
That'll be Lewis. He's used to getting the shaft.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. All right, so what are we talking about?
We are talking about something that is very near and dear to everyone's heart. Morphin Madness.
The Morphin nonsense that it was.
So at this point, I'm pretty much just going to give Jordan the floor.
Oh, sure. I'm always welcome. I'm always happy to bring myself more hatred for this. So Morphin Madness is over. We know who the 5 winners are now. Luckily, my Vote Titanium and Vote Phantom campaigns actually made it through to the end.
Don't forget hashtag Vote Jen.
Yeah, Vote Jen was another one. Some guys in the community came up with. I, of course, came up with hashtag No More Tommy, which
that is another can of worms right there.
Yeah, which did not go over well with the hardcore Green and White Ranger fans, but that wasn't really the point of it, to get rid of Jason David Frank. But I guess that's what it looked like.
You're just a hater, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible hater who doesn't like anyone or want them to have nice things.
So was the point of the campaign just to not have a whole team of Tommies at the end of this thing?
Well, the whole thing was, the point was the 5 winners would be made into Ranger keys, or some set of Ranger keys out of those 5, whether they're only for the 5 people who win the contest or they wind up going to retail later. We would get some new keys, and since BOA had already announced there'd only be about 70 or so, I thought it was a pretty good idea to try and get some more unique keys made that otherwise wouldn't. And honestly, if we're kidding ourselves if we say that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers keys won't exist, all 7 of them in some deluxe pack or something. So by saying No More Tommy, I literally just wanted some Rangers that deserved a chance to get through to win. Rangers that wouldn't have keys otherwise. Titanium and Phantom Ranger, of course, would never have them otherwise.
They had actually already announced that they weren't going to be having a Titanium Ranger key.
Exactly. Yeah. So, none of these were going to happen if they couldn't win this contest. So the whole point of No More Tommy was, hey, let's give some Rangers a shot that otherwise wouldn't have it. Let's try and vote some of the female characters who are getting the shaft. Let's try and vote some of the lower tier characters from those middle seasons people often forget about. And overnight, it really blew up and worked out pretty well. And then we were winning, we were ahead, and then the numbers just went like crazy out of control. And the Tommy fan base started getting pretty rabid. I seem to recall I pissed off a rather large portion of the Australian fan base. Facebook was kind of lit up with messages about me. But it was never about Jason David Frank until some childish things happened from his end. So.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
You didn't.
I heard some things here and there, but I wasn't really into what the whole drama was behind it.
Well, basically the numbers skyrocketed after that first day of No More Tommy, where there was a discrepancy of 30 to 40,000 votes that he was losing by. That his characters were losing by, and he hadn't really taken an interest in the competition until that point, where he was getting on Facebook and telling people hey, get out there and vote for me, I'm the #1 Ranger, whatever. And then he would start posting these images of Green Ranger that says best in the world, or #1 Ranger ever, and trying to get people to vote. And then he started going to message boards and stuff, and I think bribing people by trying to give them free autographs to vote for him. If they took pictures and could prove it, he would give them autographed photos. So it was kind of spiraling, and then someone messaged him about the whole clear your cookies and you can vote again thing, or if you open up another browser, you can vote again, which is clearly stated in the rules that if you open another browser or if you use another device, you can vote more than once. But he began encouraging people to do it like repetitively so that he could win. So after a while, Bandai and Saban actually reviewed the vote totals and determined there was a huge amount of cheating going on and reversed a bunch of them. The big problem with that is while they took away votes from characters that were losing to like Green and White Ranger and Black Dino Thunder, in some cases they actually increased his votes, which, you know, there's no way for someone who's hacked into that website and added like a vote bot or something to take away votes from a character. So it's not like he ever lost votes, but they artificially increased the votes after the fact. Actually, Ranger Board came up with some infographics that show the numbers before and after and how they changed pretty dramatically. So after some shenanigans, the numbers were changed and there was a reset like that on round 3. And there was just no coming back from there. The Green and White Ranger were assured to get to the next round and face each other. And the other ones that were against, you know, like In Space Red Ranger was against Black Dino Thunder, and it was just sort of over from there. So, you know, there was some backlash. There were definitely a lot of people who kind of had like their fanboyism in JDF sort of shaken over the whole bribing people, encouraging cheating kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a whole mess. It was. Last week was a weird week, or well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. So aside from trying to get those Ranger keys made, it was never about like any sort of like anti-fanboyism or anything like that. Because, you know, as a kid, I looked up to Tommy the same way that everybody else did that grew up on Power Rangers. It's just by the end of it, it sort of turned into like a pissing contest with Jason David Frank that got out of hand. So. But it's over now, and we can live with 3 really awesome unique Ranger keys, a 3rd Red Ranger key, and what will probably wind up being a 2nd White Ranger key. So
that's cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to Time Force Pink.
I would love to have the Titanium and Phantom keys, but if they're only going to make 5, you know, I'm not going to get one, obviously, but I would love to have those.
That's one thing, like, whenever they first announced that they was going to be made into a special key pack, I was assuming that it was going to be a special key pack that would be released in retail, but after reading it, sounds like it's just going to be like a special key pack that, you know, the 5, you know, grand winners would receive.
Yeah, it's just for the 5 winners, and they get those 24 karat gold morphers as well, but I would think after seeing like 70 and 80,000 votes for some of these characters, they'd realize they could cash in by releasing them at retail.
That's what I want. I would love a Lightspeed Rescue pack with, you know, the girls in Titanium Ranger. I would immediately buy it. Well, the thing for me is, like, Phantom Ranger, there is no VRV Master Key in the Bandai Japan toy line. He's not even a Sentai hero.
Yeah, he's not counted as one, and then Titanium Ranger is just a wholly U.S. creation, so this is really their only chance.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You started out with a good intent, and I guess it just turned into something you didn't plan on it becoming.
Yeah, it's sort of, the hashtag sort of became a beast of its own where other people got the message, but the broader community of casual fans really just misinterpreted what I was trying to do. So, unfortunately, I got quite a bit of hate over it, but it's nothing I can't deal with.
Yeah, you had people who were using the hashtag No More Tommy, basically saying, like, kill Jason David Frank. And we were like, no, Jason David Frank is fine. It has nothing to do with that.
Oh, yeah, no. Just a contest. Don't want to cause any bodily harm. So
yeah.
Very cool. All right, so shall we join you for the recommendation section?
Yes, of course.
A little bit later in the show.
Aw.
After editing, of course. You don't have to wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So my recommendation is for Hikonin Sentai Akibaranger, which, if anyone knows me, they know me well enough to know I freaking love this show. Both seasons, very solid. As single 13-episode seasons, they're excellent to watch on their own. as one giant, like 26 episode series. It's just a hilarious ride from start to finish. If you've never caught the show before, the basic premise is you've got 3 characters who live in the quote-unquote real world where Sentai is a franchise that they can watch on television. You've got Nobuo Akagi, who's Akiba Red, who is just this everyday like delivery man who's kind of like middle-aged and is like almost 30 and wants to be a Sentai hero, and that's like his dream. And magically, this sort of comes along, this happenstance that lets him become a hero, but only in his delusions. So he gets joined by Yellow and Blue a little bit later on in the first episode, and they just fight bad guys that only exist in their imaginations and when they get a little too delusional in real life. It's actually a really excellent show. Season 2 was a little bit of another mix-up of the basic premise with General Tsu or General 2, Pain or the number 2. But the show has been really good. It's supposedly being negotiated for a season 3 right now between Toei and the series creators. And if that actually happens, they're talking about adding a 4th member to the team as well, which would be really, really cool to see.
Yeah, I was expecting that to happen second season, but we didn't really see it.
Well, we did get someone who was replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that was cool. That's a little bit like Sun Vulcan-y, so that was fine. I would like to see a new member. I honestly thought that when Delu Knight came in during season 1 that he would like turn out to be a good guy or something, but that didn't really pan out.
It would be cool if they brought Delu Knight back in season 3. And,
oh yeah, that would be.
He became kind of like the Gosei Knight of the team. That would be really cool.
Yeah, he needs to get a nice upgrade.
Or if it was, Malshina.
Yeah, a lot of people had thought that she was going to come back as like Akiba Purple or something for season 2, and as it turned out, it was a lot wackier than that.
Yeah, especially when they saw that she also had a Moi Moi Zikun or
Moya
Moya, yeah.
Yeah, I mean she can transform into crazy stripper gear, but not really like a suit.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't tried at least the first season, you really should. If you've done the first season, you should really jump on the second, because it's just a crazy, crazy adventure throughout like Sentai history. You're gonna get cameos from older characters like the Zeo Rangers, the Die Rangers, the Jetmen. You're gonna get a bunch of really cool, just like one-off throwaway lines for past Sentai, and it's really self-referential humor, which is really enjoyable.
It's a very loving homage / parody that was done, by Toei itself.
Yeah, it's a for adult series. It's not really the for kids series that a regular Sentai would be.
Yeah, like the tagline of the show was "Good kids don't watch this show."
Yeah, well, and it comes on around the same time slot Garo does as well, or it did. So
I think it either came on before or after Garo.
I think it was maybe just before. So
it was still in that midnight time.
Yeah, the after hours for adult toku watching. But yeah, I would highly recommend that show. They did 2 13-episode seasons once. They did one last year and they did one the year before that. This year was the skip because they couldn't negotiate season 3. So hopefully they'll be back again next year for at least another 13 episodes. But it really deserves a longer series.
I wonder if they didn't do another season this year just because of the toy sales. It seems like those didn't sell as well.
Maybe the season 1 stuff. The show is nothing but like a marketing vehicle for SH Fig Arts. Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves, but it does it well.
Yeah.
But I think with season 1, the toys and everything sold like hotcakes, and it seems like season 2 stuff kind of sat on the shelves a little bit more.
Season 2 did drag a bit. Yeah.
I think the reason for that might be because basically most of the figures except for Armored Red were basically the exact same figures as the previous ones, but with slightly different helmets.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people probably didn't want to spend, the $40 to get, a slight remold.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gluttons for punishment like I am.
Yeah.
So. Season 2, I bought everything from season 1 as it was, but the season 2 stuff is what really drew me in. Kiba Ranger and Ryu Ranger, getting Dragon and Tyranno Ranger, getting the first couple, or getting Hurricane Red, and then subsequently the other Hurricangers coming out because of it. Mm-hmm. And actually, I'm always a sucker for like super hyper ultimate mega final forms. So getting the gold Cho Akiba Red Super was just like icing on the cake for me. Mm-hmm. So I bought everything. I'm not ashamed. So.
Not to mention that Cho Akiba Red figure is gorgeous. It is. It's so good.
It's way better than the Season 1 toy.
And I even loved the Season 1 toy, but just like fiddling around with Cho Akiba Red, I wish they would come up with a version without the special armor, just using that renewal body of the normal Akiba Red, and that would be awesome.
I could see something like that for a Season 3, that they could easily do that, but time will tell if that actually comes out. So but yeah, that's my pitch. So if you don't like it, then deal with it.
Hashtag no more Deno.
Hashtag needs more Akibaranger.
So, Jordan, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Deno_Tokunation. You can also find me on Tokunation.com. My name is obviously Deno there, and I'm an administrator, so you can hit me up there, send me a friend request, whatever you'd like to do. But you can also hit me up on Facebook. I'm everywhere. Cool.
You also have this lovely little project going on at Tokunation.
I do that. Oh, sorry.
The Talkin Toku with the Nation podcast.
Yes. Talkin Toku is, of course, the love child of myself, my friend Kickback, Chris, and Sentai Tamashi, Tom. That's our little semi-bi-weekly, half-monthly podcast segment that we do. And we just released our most recent episode yesterday, number 7, Tin Can Madness. So if you'd like to take a listen to it, please do so. And you can also follow our podcast on Twitter at Talkin Toku. And it's also got its own Facebook account as well. But you can always check for updates with it on Tokunation.com.
And all of these links will, of course, be in the description so you guys can get your Tokunation on. So, Lewis, where can people find you?
Here? Doing the YouTube thing?
No.
Also, CollectionDX, SentaiSeiya. And also, Twitter, at SentaiSeiya. Easy enough.
You guys can find me on CollectionDX. I am Jmann, and you can find me on the Twitters at JMannDX with 2 N's. So, guys, if you want to send us feedback, we do have an email account. It is powertoku@collectiondx.com. You can also tweet us on the Twitters, or comment below in the comments. Basically, tell us what you feel. Speaking words. Just tell.
You're not good with them.
Let us know what you think of the show. Tell us about stuff you want to see, recommendations. We did have somebody recommend Garo, and we didn't forget. It's just not going to happen this time around.
Maybe next time.
I should have recommended Garo.
So, if you want to hate on somebody, hate on Jordan. Join the club.
Go on Twitter. Call him a hater.
I take it all.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you again, Jordan, for appearing on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll definitely have to do this again. Wonderful recommendation and a wonderful little rant/talk.